going above and beyond all the time and always being alert and always trying to do more and whatever, that's going to turn you into a slave, first of all. That's going to condition you to seek the approval of your overlords over and over. But also, you're not going to have as much energy for when it actually matters, and you're not going to have actual energy to focus on your vision, to focus on your inner world, to focus on your imagination for what's next after this means to an end, if you don't want to stay there for the rest of your life. This is a lesson that is actually very, very important, because you have to work jobs in order to get by in life. That's just the reality of the world, right? It's a means to an end. I get it, there's nothing wrong with that, but please, for the love of God, do not go above and beyond. Do not think that by being a good little boy, just to maybe get a $1 raise salary in the next 3 years, that's actually gonna improve your life in any significant way, because the juice just simply isn't worth the squeeze. Let me tell you a story. My girlfriend, who is legitimately one of the kindest souls on earth, as well as being somebody who is very intelligent, very competent, very dedicated. Basically, she was like the model employee of that company. She would tell them any time something went wrong that the other idiots who were getting paid more money couldn't figure out. She had the eye to know at all times that machinery was breaking down and everything. They treated her like absolute and utter garbage, and they just exploited her and gave her more and more and more responsibility, just because that's what's gonna happen. Because you see, when people that are part of these like soulless corporations see a hard-working person that is giving 100% of themselves, they don't think, oh yeah, let's actually reward this person. They think, oh, how can we use this person and squeeze as much juice from them as possible while keeping them right where they are, right? It's a very exploitative idea. This philosophy is going to differ if you're trying to actually go for a career where scalability is possible and stuff. But for the majority of jobs that are just a means to an end, right, where the corporate structure is very definite and there isn't much mobility, dude, just do the minimum. Trust me. Because, dude, when I found out about how they treated her, because I worked with her there for like a month and a half, right? And when I found out, when I saw this shit firsthand, it took mustering every ounce of willpower inside of me not to do some really fucked up shit. I'm just gonna be honest. So yeah, and ultimately, that's something that I've noticed in life, is that the kindest souls just get trampled on. The kindest souls just get exploited by the people with absolutely no morals, absolutely no consideration for other people. And it just makes me really sad, right? And I don't want to see good people who are just trying to make it in life, or just trying to do their best to find their place in this universe, to have their vulnerabilities exploited by some dickhead who didn't even earn his position to begin with. That's why I utterly despise the system. That's why I utterly despise employment, right? These people are soulless. These people don't give a shit. They expect everything out of you, but they don't give two shits about you. They see you as a replaceable commodity, right? Like you have to give in your 2 weeks notice, because that's the proper thing to do. But they're allowed to just get rid of you like that at the snap of a finger. So why would you respect them? Why would you give them any more than the bare minimum that they expect, right? And the most important thing is to not lose yourself, is to not lose your individuality and the good things that make you who you are as a person. Because the more you try to chase the corporate approval, the more you try to go above and beyond to get that extra little raise, the more you become like them. The more you lose your soul. The more you are gonna treat the newcomers like shit, just like those people are treating you now. And you're gonna perpetuate this cycle of misery where everybody is forced to suppress their inner child. And they pretend that everything is okay, and they pretend that, oh yeah, I'm just contributing to society, this is my role. And deep down they arrive home completely hollow, completely empty, and their head hits the pillow and a little tear runs down their cheek, and they don't even know why they're alive. They don't even know what to make sense of their lives. But at this point, too many programs have been put in their head to which they can't connect with their true sense of self anymore. They go back to work. They try to chase after the approval like a like a good little dog. That's the cycle of misery. And some people do that until the day they die, right? So do not sell your soul. And that's happened to me as well, right? You don't get any praise for doing your job well. You don't get any raise for actually going above and beyond. And actually, when you figure out things that your superiors haven't figured out, they get annoyed because of the first law. Never outshine the master at the end of the day. They actually just feel threatened because you're doing their job better than them. So they feel inadequate because they're getting paid more than you, they have more status than you, and they don't want to be exposed as frauds. They don't want you to take their position, so they're going to make your life a living hell. So even if you go above and beyond, even if you demonstrate that, oh, you're this smart person and whatever, well, your superiors are going to try to curb you because they don't want you to take their position, right? And if it's a job that's just a means to an end, if it's not something that's aligned with your purpose, that you genuinely want to do, then there's no point in giving all of your inputs to get on the corporate cock carousel, to be quite frank. Just be a good NPC. Don't talk about any of your ideas. Don't try to be smart. Live in your internal world as you go to work. Just stay in your imagination. Remember your vision. Remember what you were created for. Remember that this is simply a means to an end, and that greater things are coming for you. And do the bare minimum, right? Now sometimes, and also doing the bare minimum allows you to conserve your energy so that when things hit the fan and you absolutely have no choice but to respond to like an emergency, then you have the energy. Then you can actually show up and prove to everyone that, oh shit, when things hit the fan, this guy actually shows up and fixes the problem. It's like, well, yeah, because you conserved your energy, because the rest of the time you're just coasting, right? So that's another aspect to keep in mind when under slavery. And to add on top of that, you need to understand that nothing that you do ever matters when it is unseen, okay? When it comes to building yourself up, when it comes to building your own thing, that's different. It's the unseen work that matters the most. But as far as the work environment is concerned, everything is perception. Everything is about looking busy and just showing when the eyeballs are on you that you are an amazing worker. And you can only accomplish that by conserving your energy and strategically manipulating it so that when people do have an eye on you, that's when you use all of the energy that you didn't expend previously to keep the relationships good and perhaps even get a raise. But that's like the low effort way to do it. Going above and beyond all the time and always being alert and always trying to do more and whatever, that's going to turn you into a slave, first of all. That's going to condition you to seek the approval of your overlords over and over. But also, you're not going to have as much energy for when it actually matters, and you're not going to have actual energy to focus on your vision, to focus on your inner world, to focus on your imagination for what's next after this means to an end, if you don't want to stay there for the rest of your life, right? And you're not going to have energy when you're actually back home. You know what I mean? So no matter what you do the minimum. So ideally you should only work if you absolutely need to, right? It should be out of necessity, because you're not actually supposed to do that. It's extremely unnatural. And for anybody who kind of disagrees and they're like, oh no, but you should be working because it's like a good thing, or whatever kind of justification, what kind of program that's been put into your brain to believe that modern work is a good thing, then let me ask you a question. If you won the lottery tomorrow and you gained $2 million, $5 million, $10 million, however much, even just 1 million, even just 1 million, would you go to work tomorrow? Would you keep slaving away? No. You would put your resignation letter, you wouldn't even send a resignation letter, you would just stop showing up completely, and you would just delete all the contacts and you would go live it up. So anybody who disagrees with my assertions in this video and has a positive view of modern work and who doesn't see it as just a means to an end, then you also have to admit that you would keep working your job for the rest of your life even if you won the lottery. Nothing would change, because work is the purpose in your life, right? You're supposed to flip the burgers, you're supposed to type in the emails, you're supposed to do all those things. That's your purpose, right? That's who you are, right? That's what God created you for, right? So if you get all the money in the world, you're still gonna do it, right? It's self-evident. You wouldn't. It's self-evident. It's a means to an end. And it's self-evident that a lot of people have built in these coping mechanisms in order to see a purpose where there isn't, because otherwise they would struggle with this crippling idea that their life has no meaning, right? As a side tangent, it's really funny to me how you get asked in school, oh, what's your dream career? What's your dream job? And nobody actually has a dream job as far as what modernity has to offer. Now, some people's life paths align with a specific line of work. Some people are genuinely meant to be doctors. That is aligned with their higher self, and that's very good. But many people are pressured into doing that when that's not actually who they are. That's not actually what aligns with their true individuality. And same goes for the majority of bullshit jobs. Menial tasks, useless eater slop. And one of the things that's really funny is a lot of these people think that they're contributing to society. How are you contributing to society? By working at McDonald's. You're contributing to obesity, you're contributing to diabetes, you're contributing to a long list of physical health issues, also mental health, because both are linked. What are you contributing to exactly by writing emails? What are you contributing to exactly as part of your job? Unless you're a blue-collar worker, which I do have some level of respect for, what are you contributing to as part of your job? What is the impact that you're having on the world? Making fast food, actively contributing to the poisoning of society. Same goes for working for any kind of company that sells toxic products, such as shampoo, such as soaps, such as makeup, all this crap that humans use on a day-to-day basis. Who are you contributing to here? You're contributing to daddy's pocket. That's the only thing you're doing, right? Because the majority of what is being sold to us are poisons that we are made to develop either a psychological or a physical addiction to, or both. For example, shampoo is a psychological addiction, right? Because you don't actually feel withdrawal symptoms or anything. It's just that you've been programmed to believe that shampoo is something that you need as part of your life. But when you think about something like McDonald's, for example, well, there's a psychological aspect, but there's also a physical aspect. Like, you actually get hormonal cravings for that stuff, you know? So yeah, do the bare minimum. Don't allow yourself to be programmed into a slave. This is very, very important if you want to live a life that makes any level of sense in the present and future. And with all of that said, if you're still watching, I really appreciate you. Keep ascending.